This is the most enlightened people and the most spiritual seeking people ever on this planet. We are the fail-safe. We need to come to our consciousness and understand what our part is here on this earth. Without this earth, we have nothing. This is about what nature needs from you today. As human beings, we are no better than the trees, the grass, or the deer, or the wolves. But we have not taken our place on this earth in the proper manner. We have taken it upon ourselves to go outside of natural law and do these things. Well, now it's our turn to do what's right. And we're going to get that chance with the spiritual awakening. Don't waste it.
Take a moment to step away, even if it's just in your mind, from our modern society's frenetic rhythm and mentality, from our collective anxieties and fears, and remember that we still have a slower, more natural world all around us that's ready to soothe us the moment that we choose to notice it.
The bottom of the lake we cannot see because its surface is covered with ripples. It is only possible when the ripples have subsided and the water is calm for us to catch a glimpse of the bottom. If the water is muddy, the bottom will not be seen. If the water is clear and there are no waves, we shall see the bottom. The bottom of the lake is our own true self. The lake is the chitta and the waves are the vrittis. And when the lake is calm, that state is called sattva, serenity.
The true alchemy is an alchemy of the consciousness of man and woman, of human beings. How we move to the next level of existence from the human into the unimaginable. And that's really what it's about.
We are the infinite source of all existence and creation, embodied in flesh. It is a paradox that we are indeed separate, that Source makes a conscious choice to divide itself in an act of love in order that it can experience itself as other. And that the ideas of unity and duality are non-mutually exclusive. That we are both and. We are one, we are all, and we're none of this at all. We move from the physical through the subconscious, through the self-conscious, through the transpersonal, into the unit of consciousness itself. And so while all of these things seem dualistic, seem to be, pieces, they are indeed a unitive whole.
The non-dual state of being, it is not generated by 5-MeO-DMT. It's simply what is. It's what you experience when you get the ego out of the way, because that's all that there is. Actually, I'll tell you a little secret. The only thing that is, and I use the big G word, the only thing that is God. It's the one and only thing that actually exists. So that's all of you. And I'll tell you another secret, because there's been mention of time and things like that and calendars. The only time that is of any relevance or any significance at all, can you guess? It's right now. It's right now. I don't give a fuck what you think about the past or the future, about what calendar you think is the right calendar to lock into. It's now, baby. It's now, because it's you. It's now. It's infinite. It's here. And it doesn't matter where you go, because it's still now. And wherever you go, it's still here. No matter who it is you think you are, you're still you. And that you actually is God. That's all that there is. So when the ego gets out of the way, that's able to happen. And here's the thing. The ego, all these spiritual traditions, they're all trying to get the ego out of the way, get the ego out of the way. But there's something really interesting that happens once the ego gets out of the way. If you can really maintain that, guess who wants to get in? Yeah, somebody else wants to get in. Reality, God.
There's no words. There's no words. Language fell apart. Symbols fell apart. The perfection in every moment. And the joy of fully occupying this vessel. To finally be here and not question. Not having the duality, the dialectic, the meaning making, the analysis, to have that quiet spaciousness emerge.
I think the main cause of depression in our culture is a disconnection from the source. And everything in our culture pulls us away from that. It's just a vast conspiracy to disconnect us. And we're all addicted to pills and treating our symptoms and television and all this crap, and it just pulls us apart from each other and away from the source, and we get sicker and sicker and sicker. These medicines pull you back to the source. It's ingrained in us to remember this. We came to this damn place for a reason, to experience this life. And it's ingrained in us, in our DNA, to remember how to go back to it. And this medicine is showing us that. And to see this community growing here is just really inspiring, and it's beautiful.
I think of this work as the work of know thyself. And in order to know thyself, we have to know what we are not. We have to break the spell. And it's really about undoing our conditioning. And I really think, what is the point of doing these medicines if you're not going to break the spell of your perceptions of who and what you think you are and what you perceive this world to be?
Our brains are consciousness regulating machines. Every second of the day, you are varying and changing your consciousness. If you're listening to me and you get hungry and you get something to eat, you have just changed your consciousness. There was an unpleasant thing in your brain and you did something to alter it. This is what we do all the time, and the fact that our culture does not recognize this is completely bizarre and wrong. An incredible cognitive dissonance. So why shouldn't we have medicines that help us change consciousness? Because that's what's happening inside your skull. So we can hyperventilate and spin as children or do breath meditations as adults. We can eat all sorts of food from sweet to spicy. We can go to movies from horror to love story. We can do sensory, sleep deprivation, all sorts of things. We do this all the time. And we want to go back to that Chinese materia medica. What did it say they could do with the right dose in the right way? We could have visions of spirit and your body becoming light.
Since the dawn of recorded history, humankind has sought to obtain direct, intimate communion with the divine through the ritual use of various entheogenic sacraments and practices. The secret initiatory rites of the ancient Hindus, Greeks, Zoroastrians, Gnostics, Taoists, pagans, Stragans, numerous indigenous shamanic cultures of both Asia and South America, and even, as some speculate, esoteric Judaism, Buddhism, and Islam, and Christianity all involve the use of exogenous entheogenic compounds. Now, while many of the specifics of these ancient practices within various initiatory traditions have either been hidden or long forgotten, there are certain individuals, traditions, and modern mystery schools that still employ the use of an entheogenic Eucharist to impart the secrets of the gnosis of apotheosis, the true knowledge of God awakening within the collective human consciousness. This awakening quite possibly represents the ultimate rite of passage for humanity itself, and a powerful shift within the emergent paradigm. As we move forward into this new millennium, facing the inevitable collapse of numerous old paradigm structures, it becomes ever more vital for us, both individually and as a species, to recognize the fundamental importance of our unified state of existence as conscious co-creators within the Gaian human collective. Toward that end, entheogens, both endogenous and exogenous, inside and out, provide us all with a unique opportunity and ability to recognize and noetically realize that unified state of universal consciousness, traditionally known to the Hindus as samadhi, that intimately connects us all to each other, to all of nature, and to God or Source itself. Through the entheogenic experience, we can effectively open our hearts and minds to literally limitless possibilities for fostering harmony, beauty, peace, sustainability, and greater economic and environmental efficiency that will allow us as a species not only to survive, but to thrive upon our planet in the establishment of the age-old vision of the universal siblinghood of all humankind.
I find that it really works on three key places. One is your choices that you've made in your life, the traumas that you've had in your life, and your ancestral lineage and what you've brought into this world. And then somehow, the way I say it, the potential is that it detangles the soul and defragments the hard drive so you get back to your original design. So that's what I've seen happen in the full case. I'm not saying it happens to everybody at all, but that, I think, is the mission of that medicine. These medicines do 50% of the work, and then you have to do the other 50%. And that's the key.
Many of us want the flowers without the rain and the thunder and lightning that accompanies it. This is not something easy. It takes courage. And it may not take courage the first time, but if you go back, it takes courage. No, it's not all love. There is also horror and malevolence inside of this, and if you get in deep enough, you'll find that out, and it's inescapable. So there's everything, all possibility inside of this. It's not supposed to be fun, it's supposed to be growth. There's no such thing as a bad trip. Bad trip, what's that? Without the mask, without somebody next to you holding your hand saying it's all right or you're doing a good job, you only have yourself. And that's where you build your power. That's where you build your understanding.
Whether you call it samadhi, the clear white light, the 0 point, unity field, or God, the attempt to languagize the unspeakable is possible, inasmuch as a map can be brought back of the territory of the terra incognita itself. But are maps enough? The geography of that core source space, the infinite unconditional love frequency of pure white light, cannot be denied, nor can it go unrecognized that I am that which is in that space of remembrance. Words then cannot contain what Terence McKenna called the logos, but words can sing back songs of praise, Words can leave traces and direction for those that come after. Words can help express what the heart already knows. When perhaps we've had this relationship and this capacity within ourselves, but we've had something happen in prehistory. We've had this fall of consciousness, this filtering down of consciousness, and it seems to be Gaia's outreaching again, working through the plants, not just for individual healing, but for cleansing and for remembering this divinity within, this capacity that we have, like we can do this too. You know, Gaia's like, we've got this, you got this. You can do this too. The plants are like the training wheels. The toad is like a training wheel. We have this within ourselves. And once we have it switched on again, what do we do with it? We purify the temple, the vessel of the body, to allow the capacity of the ocean to come into the drop, into ourselves.
Nature loves courage. You make the commitment and nature will respond to that commitment by removing impossible obstacles. Dream the impossible dream, and the world will not grind you under. It will lift you up. This is the trick. This is what all these teachers and philosophers who really counted, who really touched the alchemical gold, this is what they understood. This is the shamanic dance in the waterfall. This is how magic is done, by hurling yourself into the abyss and discovering it's a feather bed. There is a light that glows continuously in the universe. It is eternal, ever present, and unending. This light is the source of life. It can be for each of us the source of joy, well-being, aliveness. In fact, that which makes everything in life charged with exuberance and gratitude at the miracle of being. We can be filled with wonder and excitement at participating in the enormous adventure of this life. This light is infinitely expressive, constantly seeking ways to manifest in ever-unfolding, ever-increasing varieties of expression. We, humankind, have the opportunity to be the channel for the expression of this light. As the most developed creatures on the planet, we have been granted attributes which permit us to unite our inner self with this indescribably beautiful light, to be an expression of this energy and to share in the joy and delight of the unfolding processes of life. God is humankind itself. We're it. It's up to us. Nobody's going to do it for us. It's you. You are the one that you've been waiting for all of this time.
A vision without a task is but a dream. So if you have that vision of what you want to do with the gods, but you don't have that instinctual energy done, nothing happens. A task without a vision is but a drudgery or chaos. So if the demons are just doing shit all over the place, it doesn't go anywhere. It's chaos again. A vision with a task is the hope of the world. When we bring those two forces together, outside and inside our brains, then all of a sudden something interesting happens.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you did for a living. It is about our relationship to ourself, our relationship with others, and with the natural world around us.
Let's not keep secrets from our children or ourselves.
Thank you.
Let's not. Let's walk forward in this entheogenic path with our heads held high, in truth, in honesty, no fear, no fear. Don't let fear stop us from being who we are.
Come out of the entheogenic closet.
All right.